What up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I had to pause there. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, AD. Welcome to Preach the Girl, the Motivator. I appreciate you guys for rocking with us today. Um, hey, blessings, y'all. Blessings, Lisa. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. So yeah, thank you for rocking with us. Today we're talking about how do we define the manhood to the next generation. Today we're going to be focused on like the emotional aspect of it. So we're running late, so I'm not gonna talk to your ear off. We're gonna go ahead and kick this off, get my brother Pastor in the building, and we'll be right back. I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy.
Change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come.
A co-op has to start with ownership. We have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Because this is covenant.
The whole premise is that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often making this journey possible, often invested in the business.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
All right. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome everybody.
Good morning, sir. Welcome back to you.
Yes. Hey, Deborah. Good morning. Hey, Mama Corey. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for rocking. As always, my ask is that you share. Sharing is caring. Let everybody know that the brothers are in the building. And I know the week is going fast, guys.
It's Thursday.
Happy Thursday. So make sure you share. And if you're not part of our text community, text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Never miss a broadcast. And that is it. Today we're talking about defining manhood to the next generation. It's kind of like a part one of a couple of phases of this. Today I just want to kind of talk about the emotional aspect of passing on that level of manhood to our next generation, being able to handle your emotions and learning how to express them in a more healthier fashion instead of holding them in, has been trained to us as time passed before, kind of suck it up. Men don't cry, kind of situation. And just kind of how do you become an example to the next generation through what you say and how you allow the next generation to express themselves and to speak on certain opportunities. And I don't know if Pastor want to get into that, but we'll see. We'll see. Some stuff that's happened this weekend. But we'll just go on like just how do, like, growing up for yourself, Pastor, did you feel like it was, I know we talked about around your homeboys. I mean, crying wasn't a thing unless you broke something. Broke something, you fell off something, some tears are gonna drop. It's kind of hard, no boy can stand around and look at you like, suck it up. They're like, I'd be crying too. Like, ooh, your ankle look like it's those moments you're like, yeah, you need to go and shed some tears because that hurts. But outside of that, having, even experiencing like a heartbreak, the emotional hurt, you know, the stuff we're not really given the allowance to cry over. You know, like, man, suck it up. But you know, like I'm young, like all of my love was in this. Those like 15-year-old love. This is I've never experienced this kind of connection, you know. And hey, I'm Sam, good morning. Um, so how like as you matured, like when was the moment, I guess, that you said it's to yourself or someone external said it's all right to cry, you know, all right to really express your emotions, even if you didn't express it in front of somebody, you at least had a good cry. You cried it out, you know. Um, you expressed it in a way that wasn't destructive, because you know we've seen others that just when they're hurt they want to hurt others. Like I'm gonna destroy everything around me because I'm hurt, you know. I want everyone to feel my pain. What's up, Richard? Good morning. Good morning. So when do you remember the time that you were able to really that you let loose without the thought of, oh man, you know, that men don't do this, you know?
All my life, I had to fight. Nah, man. Honestly, I don't. We expressed ourselves, bro.
Okay. Okay.
I came up in a generation where you had love songs.
Right.
You had
Well,
black folks and white folks singing love songs.
yeah.
We,
Yeah.
I listen. We
Yeah.
used to have heart sessions, Jonah sessions as
Okay.
teenagers, man, and we push each other to cry. We talk about you till you cried. We push you till you broke.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Everybody had a moment.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
I told you, me and my best friend Chris Tanzi got in a fight one Friday night, man. And
Right.
like the Saturday morning, we was on the phone, like, yo, man, I don't never want to fight you again, bro.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? It was like that's just what it was. Cause like everybody got a whooping.
Right.
You know, I God rest his soul, Quavy Yates, my friend from across the street. You know, we
Yeah.
saw him get a whooping.
Wow.
Like everybody knew when you got a whooping
Right.
in our
Right.
neighborhood.
Right.
You
Right.
couldn't
Right. Right.
hide.
Yeah.
So there was no
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah.
You know, we were all kind of pretty much the same class of people.
Okay.
You didn't have more than I had, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So everybody was going through something. Everybody, parents knew each other. If you got in trouble at school, everybody knew it. You know, your mother could say something to me. Your father could say something. My mother could say something to you.
Right.
You know, like everybody knew. So there was nowhere to hide.
Right. Right.
So this
Right.
whole walking around with this false bravado and all that, nah, that didn't work.
It
Because
didn't work.
everybody know, y'all ran out of bread.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so we didn't like so you couldn't really hide.
Right.
You know, so and y'all, I mean, you've seen me cry.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and you've known me for years.
Right.
And early in our relationship, you saw me cry.
Right.
I
Right.
have a reputation, but the thing is, I don't have a reputation of somebody who cries. I have a reputation of somebody who's not afraid to show his emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was always a struggle for me with people who did not want to talk, who did not want to work through something, who did not want to talk it out.
Right.
You know, that was my thing. I was listening to is it Hot 97? Like after the Super Bowl, Mary J. Blige was interviewed on Hot 97, and they spent like an hour with her at the radio
Oh
station.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's so powerful, and you would love it because it's Mary J. Blige in New York.
Right. 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 Right.
But they had her on, and they kind of walked through her life, her career.
Wow.
You know, because like Mary J. grew up in front of us.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Indeed.
So
Indeed.
she doesn't hide anything.
Right. Right.
At this point. And so listening to her talk about all of her experiences, listening to her talk about, they were asking her about the Super Bowl thing. And have you heard all the madness, people saying that it was, it was too raunchy and all that? Cause she's like, no, I don't hear that because that's small talk.
Right. Right.
Because the moment was so big that
Yeah.
I don't have time for the small talk, because more people were pleased and satisfied
than the haters.
who were offended.
Right.
right? And then I heard Bomani Jones on another platform talking to someone saying, don't talk about the people who criticize the Super Bowl halftime show because people get paid to criticize. I'm saying all that to say this, that Mary J. Blige has exposed her pain throughout her life, right? And this is something that was so profound. They asked her where she got her energy from. How does she rebound? What she said? Well, I read, I studied, I researched, I did all these things to find my healing, to find my true self, and to be able to recover and recognize that I am beautiful. You know, at my worst, I'm still beautiful, and all this kind of stuff. And she was telling them all the resources that she used to get herself whole. And then and the radio host was like, "You did all that, but we just used your music."
Right. Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying that when it comes to men and expression and, you know, showing our feelings and all this kind of stuff and, you know, manhood, you know, I'll be 55 and manhood is still being defined.
Right.
For me. Right.
Yeah.
So all I have is to try to be the best example of manhood to the next generation. I don't have anything to prove.
Right.
But when I look at the next generation, I'm concerned. As much as I know we have heroes, we have examples of young men growing up and being about that business. There are far too many weak areas.
Right.
For our young men.
Right.
And I'm saying it doesn't matter what race, creed, or color you are. There's a tremendous weakness when it comes to manhood and stepping up, you know, when it comes to character.
Right.
And so when I pray, those are the things that I pray about, because I'm trying to have conversations with young men who don't want to have conversations with me.
Right.
And when I say young men, I'm talking about somebody like I'll be 55. I'm talking 54.
Right.
If you're younger than me, I'm trying to have a conversation.
Right.
If you're older than me, I'm trying to learn.
Right. Definitely.
So to me, how do we define manhood in the next generation? I know I went a long way to say this, but for me, it's about having somebody to reach out to.
Yeah.
In front of you and having somebody to reach back behind you. Have somebody that's pulling you and make sure you're pulling somebody
else.
So if you want to define manhood, it's the connection. Manhood's greatest definition will be having a solid connection to the previous generation and the next generation, and be an example for both. Be example of a listener and be an example of saying the right thing. That's manhood to me.
Gotcha. All right. I mean, for myself, yeah, I mean, that's good. I like that. I think, you know, for myself, I never really, I mean, I was always like compassionate when I was young. Yeah, I mean, I wear, you know, they say you wear your emotions on your sleeve. I think, you know, like kind of, I mean, I was never told not to cry, but I guess it just wasn't in me. I've had incidences that happened, and, you know, like it was, you know, yeah, we didn't have the cry session. You just kind of, you know, we toughed it up. You know, we was kind of not like hard, but we just, crying wasn't our thing. And I kind of grew up in that space, you know, like until you get older and I had cry sessions, you know, like when things were overwhelming life was getting tough, you know, like I would boohoo it. I let it out, you know. The moment when I was going through a divorce, I was at work, man. I lost it. I just, you know, I had to, like, and I worked at Costco, so, you know, they have the big freezer or like the big cooler areas. Like I was going in there just to cool myself down and just try to bring it down. Let's see. I got a friend picking me up to take me out. Right. Catch you tomorrow. Indeed. Appreciate you. It was okay. Jay says it was okay to cry if you won a championship or lost a relative, but not life in general. Yeah, man. That was the old school way of masculinity. Indeed. And that's kind of,
we didn't have it. See, I didn't have an egotistical man in the house. I was raised by a single woman.
Right.
But what's funny is I saw two emotions from my mom.
Okay.
Happy and angry.
Wow.
I didn't see my mom
Yeah.
crying, you know,
Right.
not growing up. I didn't see that. But
Yeah.
there was room for us to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, but my house was the same. Yeah, my dad didn't, my mom didn't. If she did, it was never in my vicinity. Like I never seen her shed a tear, you know.
But we had the Carpenters on album in the house.
I got.
Yeah,
But
my mom
yes,
didn't cry in front of us, but
right. You know,
she listened to Karen Carpenter. So
you know what's coming. You know she crying somewhere.
yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, I never like like I said, I never. I think one time I cried. You know, I'm about to share too much. Oh, but one time I cried was I don't know. I think I might have been like 16, and like my dad, he was battling alcoholism, or he was alcoholic, whatever, and was at like it was like a retreat for, they was a way, like to help for him to work it out, but then they had a retreat open to the family, whatever, and it just got a lot for me. It got a lot, and I started tearing up. Like, we was in the bedroom, whatever room we was in. My mom, like, she didn't respond though. Like, she just, okay, like no hug, no. It's just, I was like, it was one of the moments like, gotta get through this. Just suck it up, like. And so like it was just I never grew up in a household of like, my mother loved me. There was no doubt. Like, she wasn't abusive. So I just want to be clear. Like, we just wasn't like lovey-dovey, if that makes sense. Like, we hug our kids 52 times a day. My daughter hugs a lot. I hug my son a lot. But he said, right, without a dad, she said, I had too many sons to cry without a dad being there. I feel you on that, Mama Corey. I feel you on that. But yeah, it's so the motion part, it was there because we had a lot going on. We had a lot. And being older, oh yeah, I know my mama cried somewhere, some bathroom, away from the house, like, it was too much. Like, you couldn't be that stoic. So yeah, it was we didn't, so my dealing with my emotions probably were just older, when I got more adultish. And I feel like the older I get, the more I don't care about a good cry. Like, I drop a tear in a minute. Now movies get you like,
yeah,
oh man. And you ever try to be like, this is not real. It's not real. Like, but it just watches them. You're like, oh.
I watched Just Mercy last night.
Oh man.
And I know I've seen it 10 times. But when that judge says, you've made my job easy today.
Right.
All counts against you have been dismissed. And
feel it.
When Jamie Foxx turned and he was like, I'm like, and then I'm saying to myself, again? You gonna cry again?
Man up. We good. We've seen this 1,000 times.
Come on, man.
Oh, let's see. Jay said it's hard for our parents to project vulnerability when they have so much in the way of responsibility. Plus, Black folks have never had the emotional space to cry in the face of oppression, sad reality.
Yeah, because there was always so much we had to do.
Right.
And showing, crying was a show of weakness. Right. Instead of power, it was weakness. And so there was just no opportunity for us to do that because crying meant we would miss our opportunity.
Right.
And there's a fear that the opportunity would not come around again because you're too weak for the tough moments. Right. And it meant so much. But the thing is, it wasn't so much of the system. It was our interpretation of it and how we brought it on ourselves. Like, the reality is the system is the system. Right. But what we've learned today is, if the system never changes, are you going to stay buried?
Right.
That's the difference today. And to Jay's point, back then we didn't understand that. We kept thinking that there was going to be something different at some point. So we'd hold out and we'd wait. We'd put it off. And then, but the tears never came because the change never happened.
Right.
So generation after generation, you're trying to hold it together,
Yeah.
keep strong, stay strong, never let them see you sweat,
Right.
you know, never let them feel like they got you.
Right.
And the reality is all of that caused you to get yourself
Right. Yeah.
and get your own next generation. And so we got swallowed up in that stuff, and we're still fighting our way out of it now, you know,
Yeah.
and that's why I feel like there's such a breakdown
Hey, good morning, Keto.
in our community, because the appearance of weakness is still there.
Right.
So now you just got a bunch of mad folks running around here, and the people that tell you it's okay to cry are not in your house.
Right. Right.
So parents are losing relationships with their children because they're going to find on social media, they're finding therapists that tell them it's okay to feel this.
Right.
And you got a contradiction going on. So it's maddening. It's maddening.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I get what Jay is saying. I don't know, like, but then it becomes a repression, you know, of just how you really feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's there a space for you to be real? You know, life
That's
is,
what I love about the scripture, because
yeah.
I think we misinterpret the seasons.
Okay.
You know, so saith the preacher in Ecclesiastes, there's a time to laugh and a time to cry, a time to mourn, you know, all of the, there's a season for everything,
Right.
you know, and what I believe God is saying is there are moments for these things where these things are productive. You just can't stay there.
Right.
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 And I think we miss that part. You know, we think the season to cry lasts about 5 minutes.
Right.
And you got to get up, you got to move on.
Right.
But you can't tell me how to mourn.
Right.
You can't tell me how to grieve. Everybody grieves differently.
Yeah.
And so we make the mistake of basing our actions on someone else's interpretation,
Right. Right.
someone else's definition.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. I think it's important to have someone that you can communicate with, someone that is there to be an ear, to understand and know what you're talking about, and won't use it against you.
Right.
But you have to make room to exercise all of the emotions that are in you.
Right.
That's why the Bible says, be angry, but sin not.
Right.
It's okay to get angry. Just don't lose your mind in your anger.
Right.
Don't allow anger to be to have a stranglehold on you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
It's okay to be happy. Don't
Yeah.
let anybody stop you from it. It's an emotion, but just know that every day you're not going to be happy. Every moment you're not going to be happy. And when you're not, make sure you understand how to overcome and keep pressing through.
Right.
It's okay to be sad. You just can't live there.
Yeah. I think that's the main part, you know, just not living in a space of emotion, you know, and being able to move, you know, forward, or have at least forward motion, you know, like regardless of what it is, even if you're mourning, I'm not saying forget, but being able to move out of the space you're in. You know, like it's that's where people get stuck, and they can't live because they're stuck in a space where something happened, you know, and they just don't know how to turn the corner on their life, you know, because, you know, things happen and the trajectory changes. Like, I'm going this way, tragedy strikes. Now I need to be able to pivot and continue moving. And I think sometimes you get lost in I'm supposed to forget, you know, because I'm moving forward, I'm forgetting the moment. You know, I'm leaving somebody behind, you know, in 1995 or 2000. Like, I'm moving forward, I'm leaving them behind because I'm not in that space anymore. I'm not crying about them every day. But you got to find a healthy way to be able to press past the moment. You need to press past that feeling, you know, because there's guilt. There's you know, there's more or less guilt sometimes. I think it's that guilt that I'm moving on and your life stopped, you know. So I think getting out of that guilty space, it definitely makes a difference. Hamilton says, I also think God uses us in our seasons for greater purpose. Not only does it give us reminders of why we do what we do, but the journey might also be inspiring someone else trying to figure this out. Indeed.
Yeah. One of my famous phrases is, I tell people, like, me and you've had a conversation. And I said, well, guess what, bro? One day you're going to meet an AD.
Right.
And what I mean by that, you're going to meet a guy or a person who is right where you are. You will have gotten past it, but where you are right now, you're going to meet somebody else. Because you've made it through, you'll be able to help them.
Right.
I mean, we overcame him, the devil, by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony.
Right.
You know, I think about all the pitfalls that I've experienced in my life. Bro, when the first time my son got hospitalized, you know, I was so angry.
Right.
This is what I love about God. I was so angry, man. I felt like it would have been better for me to just disappear.
Right. Because
everybody around me was in danger.
Wow.
You understand?
Right.
I mean, like everybody, because I was on such an edge, man, that I felt like it was so unfair.
Wow.
For my son to have, like, it was enough for him to have been diagnosed with the condition that he had.
Right.
But for him to be fighting to breathe.
Yeah.
And his body was already in a weakened state. I'm like, this just doesn't make. I'm like, what? Like, I'm looking up to the heavens. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
You understand? Like, what are you doing to him? What are you doing to me? What are you doing? Like, how am I supposed to explain? How am I supposed to keep moving when my son is in here fighting for his every breath? He's been intubated. Are you kidding me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the emotion, like it's sadness, it's frustration. It's rage. I was enraged, bro. You know, and here I am, a man of God, in a fit of rage because my son is. I'm like, I was so angry that I wouldn't leave his side. My son was in the hospital for 2 months, man.
Wow.
You know, and I stayed there I never left the hospital.
Wow.
I lost like 25 pounds. I wouldn't leave his side. And in that moment, it was like, you forgot all about God.
Right.
You're supposed to be a man of God, but you won't walk away from your son because you think your presence here is keeping him alive.
Right.
You forgot it. Like this is what anger, this is what missing it will like. If you get caught up in that moment, it'll do that.
Yeah.
Right. And me and all of my knowledge of the word of God, me and all of my Holy Ghost and all of that stuff, you know, didn't matter because there I was. What happened? The reality check for me was when my son was starting to get better.
Wow.
Right. I left that hospital twice in 2 months.
Oh, wow.
2 times.
Wow.
I showered at the hospital. They had to bring my clothes to the hospital. I ate at the hospital. You know, I didn't go to work. Wow. I didn't even talk to my job. Like, people from my job actually came to the hospital to see me.
Wow.
And my son was the one in the hospital. Right. Wow. Somebody came to my job and they said, somebody came from my job and they said, "Where are you?"
Wow.
And they were being funny because they were saying, "You've lost so much weight that I'm missing a whole Brian."
Wow. Right.
Right. Like, what are you eating?
Right.
Like, what are you doing? You're going to be in the bed next to your son, and it won't be the cot. It'll be a hospital bed.
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And when I heard those words, like, I saw myself. I had to shave. I had to brush my teeth, wash my face every morning in that room, but I couldn't see myself.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh wow. So this is what you look like.
Right.
You know. But the thing is, I didn't come out of it until he came out of the hospital.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So I'm saying, like, and so what I learned, and so he got hospitalized again. What I learned is when tragedy strikes your life, you know, are you going to allow tragedy to strike without you becoming tragic?
That's good.
Right. I mean, these are the lessons. And this is where I had to really learn. Like, I had to reestablish my relationship with God because the relationship that I had wasn't working. That's why I thank God for mercy. I thank God for grace, because he kept me when I wouldn't even keep myself.
Right.
I was praying, but I wasn't talking to God. I was talking to anybody that would listen.
Right.
Because I felt like I had been failed. I felt like my son had been failed. And so I'm saying, like, this was real emotion.
Right. Right.
You know, this was humanity at its best.
Right.
right? And this was my experience. And you heard me preach a message. The message was entitled "I Almost Quit." Remember that message?
Mm-hmm.
That's the testimony.
Well, right. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah.
Thank God for Jesus. But now I can tell people that's the
right.
danger of getting too caught up
Right.
in an emotional state and
Right.
staying there too
Staying
long.
there too long.
Right.
Right.
Because I had a whole family that was still
Right.
depending on me. I had
Right.
children at home. I had a wife, like what,
Right.
you
Right.
know? And it was
Yeah.
like the Old and New Testament, the 400 silent years between the Old and New Testaments, because I wasn't no good to anybody.
Right.
And that's just real talk.
I think it's that expression but it's recognizing it as well. For you felt like you had to just be there,
Yeah.
all of who you were. And honestly, like it wasn't, you leaving was like, I'm forgetting about him. So I think it's just recognizing, and like you said, leaning on God, like, all right, God, you got this. I need to step back into my responsibilities. You take care of this.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we get disconnected from what we're supposed to be doing because of a situation, one situation in our family, which is huge, but it's like, all right, God, I need to trust you here because you have me to take care of here,
Yeah.
with, the whom much is given, much is required. So I got to
Yes,
get
sir.
back into my requirements,
Yeah.
and just trust you. I think that's huge, especially as when becoming a man, especially, like we can't sit on stuff anymore. Like it's okay, God, I know
Well,
I got to
you
keep
think
moving.
you think you can fix it. You think you
Right.
can control it. You think
Because
you can
that's what we're
make
supposed
it
to,
better.
that's like our job. We're supposed to
Yeah.
fix
Right.
everything. We got to fix
So
it. Our
like
stuff in there.
I gotta be here. Like, cause
Yeah.
this is the area of pain. I gotta be right here.
Right.
But you being here so long,
Yes.
you're creating a gap and a void over here.
Yeah.
Right. You got to have enough trust. You got to have enough confidence in the Lord. Like for
Right.
me, it was like whatever was going to happen was going to happen. I couldn't control that.
Right. Right.
But what I could control is my response, my reaction to it. And that's the
Right.
thing that you have to learn. Like, what do you do when you didn't see it coming? Because you can't. There's no way you can plan for tragedy.
No.
Right.
No way.
But what you can do is build yourself up so that in the event tragedy comes, you can process through it. Right.
Process. Yeah.
You got to process through it without losing sight of who you are, who your God is, and recognize that you're not in it by yourself. Those are all the lessons, because people continue to love you when you allow them to.
Right.
What we do is, as men, we make the mistake of shutting people out.
Yes.
I got this, and nope, I don't, nope, because I don't want to have to owe you.
Right.
I mean, it's true.
Right.
We don't want to seem weak. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to have to owe anybody.
Right.
That kind of stuff. There's so many emotions that come into play when it comes to pride and vulnerability. Mom says sitting in God's chair. Yeah, you want to play God.
Right.
And he quickly reminds you that it is in him that we live.
Right.
Not he in us.
Right. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
God showing himself strong in our weakest moments.
When we allow him, like, God is only as good as you allow him to be in your life.
Yeah.
As God can do anything.
Right.
But he can't do anything that you don't allow him to do.
Right.
Now you figure that one out. Right? You think about what I'm saying. Right. Because God can do anything, but we have free will, free moral agency. We have the power to choose. You can choose to lose.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to win.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. All right. Let that sit on you for a minute. But yeah, definitely as we mentor and encourage our young men, those that are coming next, being aware, being what they say, self-aware, and being able to express your emotions and being able to deal with what's happening and not get stuck. I think that's like the biggest thing is just how to process without being stuck, how to lean on God and just to be able to move forward. We get, when you feel like you have to be the one to fix everything, especially, for most men, they are the fixers in their circle. I got to fix everything. I'm the fixer. I fix stuff, and when you can't, like, There's gonna be things that you just can't fix, and you just have to trust God and let it move. They said, it's like a 100 person can't save them till they're at the point of giving up. Right? Relax and let you do what needs to do to save them. Yeah, indeed, indeed. That's a real analogy right there. You know, because we always
But
trying
even
to
in your
fix.
greatness, man, it's
Yeah,
like, what about the next generation that is absolutely succeeding,
yeah.
and you're so wrapped up in your success,
All right.
you
Yep.
know, that you lose sight. Your pride takes over,
Yep.
and the very definition of who you are is based on what you've accomplished.
Yep.
And you lose in situations like that as well. We get so full of ourselves that we forget where we come from.
Right.
We forget that we're supposed to be a blessing to other people.
Right.
I don't have time for anybody that's not on my level.
Right. Right. Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't
That's
have patience to pour. I don't have the patience to pour into anybody. I'm busy trying to make it. I got to get this bag. I got to make
right.
my name great.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. There's a weakness in that
Definitely.
as well, because there will come a time where you will have ruined all those relationships, and when you're in need, you're gonna realize there's nobody around you because you've driven everybody off.
Right.
In other words, what happens when you lose the fan base?
Right. Right.
You know,
That's big.
there are a lot of professional athletes and stuff that don't last 10 years beyond retirement.
True.
And
Yeah.
you can't blame it all on CTE.
Right.
Seriously, you
Yeah.
know, that's what I always appreciated about the late, great Kobe Bryant. He planned
Yeah.
for coming away from basketball,
Right.
right? But you find out how many people he poured into while he was great
Right.
after he was gone. His
Yeah.
legacy is that the number of people he poured into.
Yeah.
Some of the great players on the court right now today talk about how he took time and talked to them.
Just a pause. Side note. That sucks. I always wonder how many people he actually heard from that said, because there's things, there's always the big stuff, then there's the small stuff, because there's gonna be people that probably seen you pastor maybe like 3 times, and they're like, man, when he said such and such, that after the third time seeing him, I took that word and it changed my life. But
Yeah.
you never know about it. I don't know. I know you're not gonna know everything, but I feel like, I don't know. I've been thinking in my head to start a page, like an Instagram page, like giving flowers now, right? You know how, so when someone passes, you see all the videos. I saw so many Bismarcky videos. Yo, you never posted that you hung out with him. You never posted that you did a pic. I never seen it. Maybe you did later years ago, but it's so crazy. You get to see the worst was Nipsey Hussle. I heard about him. I knew about him. But when he passed, so many interviews, he said some great things. He said some really great things. And you're like, oh, where's all these words before? Because I might at least followed him for his interviews, for the things he said. Maybe not his music, but the words that he spoke. I don't know. I know it's hard to really get it all out, but sometimes I just think how much of some of these folks did they hear about it? How much did they see it? Because Pastor, you do something crazy now, all the criticism, you get every bit of criticism, every bit of it.
Look, I already did it.
Right.
I'm already getting it.
Right.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
Like being on here.
Yeah.
On this platform. I got people who are angry at me because this is not what pastor is supposed to do.
Right. But you're inspiring folks
right now.
But you're inspiring folk right now. You're inspiring some pastors watching, man, I don't have to be fake.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm showing too much raw. I mean, right. I'm too raw, too uncut.
Yeah.
I don't have a tie on.
Right.
Right. Some people can't even read what's behind me. Some folks may think it's satanic, but they can't spell it out because they're missing the P. Right. They think it's say ho. I mean, seriously, man, we can find a reason
right
to
Right.
denounce, to come against people. I'm
Right.
telling you, man, the level of hate is crazy. It's
Yeah.
really crazy. But
Yeah.
the thing is, you can't, the same way you can't lose sight of the people that are designed to be your support system.
Yes.
You can't get caught up in the people that are designed to be your downfall, your
Oh yeah.
breaking system.
Yeah.
You can't, like when I talk about being young and we would push each other to cry, I'm talking about, we did it. It was comedy. We talk about you.
Ah,
We
okay.
talk about
Okay.
your mama. We talk about your house. We call out the stuff like, you got roaches that
Roach.
repel from cabinets.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Like I ring your doorbell and the rat opens the door for
Right.
me.
Right.
We,
Yeah.
you want to change the channel. You go to your neighbor's house and knock on the door and tell them to turn the channel. You watch a movie through their window.
Through the window.
Because everybody was broke,
Right.
You understand? Like,
do.
I mean, we talked about people's mothers,
Right.
I mean, that whole thing with, your mother don't have any hair and,
Right. I
your
got
sister
you.
went behind the house, I mean, we
I
did it
know.
all, and
got you.
it was raw. And you make somebody cry, make them ready to fight, and that's when the laughter started.
Right.
When
Right.
we break you. But
Right.
what it
Right.
was, like, I don't care who everybody got broken,
Yeah.
so that we
Yeah.
could all be real with each other.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
I got
And
you.
like, I know it sounds crazy, but that's kind of
That's
how
what
it
we did
was.
as
The reality
kids.
is,
That's how we got through it as kids. Yeah.
yeah, that's how we got
Yeah.
through it. And the thing is, that way nobody felt ashamed.
Right.
We
Right.
didn't know the wisdom of it.
Right.
We just knew we didn't want to be the one that everybody was laughing at. It had to be
Right.
somebody else's turn.
Right.
It couldn't just
Right.
be me. And that's what I'm saying. And I feel like we have to
He said,
got it. Yeah, exactly. That was it, man. We call them heart sessions.
Right.
You keep going to the heart till you hit the heart. That's how it was.
Indeed.
But that's how close we were. And what I'm saying is, like, we should live like that today.
Right.
At your absolute greatest, be humble.
Right.
At your absolute worst, be available.
Right.
That's real. And so if we can get better at that, man, wow. And I'm saying it begins with the grown-ups.
Yeah. Definitely. I think we have to learn to be transparent. We have to learn to be able to be real. Like, I think, we wear a mask everywhere. And I think it's I don't know, like there is a time, there is a tact to sharing truth. But I think, we're not honest. Sometimes we're not honest with ourselves, and it's affecting, the next generation, where the next generation sees us, especially in a place like church or something, and we mimic actions,
Ooh.
without getting the God,
Ooh.
and we so I think a lot of that we meant, because to me, like, in the house of worship or house of the Lord is where we should be the most vulnerable, at least, even to our brothers or our sisters, someone like, like, how you doing? I'm here. Like, like,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
You don't think we should be vulnerable?
Yeah, like, I mean, that's a great question.
Like, because real talk, because there
is Sunday the moment where you tell it all?
I feel like sometimes maybe that's my only place.
No, because Sunday is the moment I came to get a word.
I got you.
Right. And I don't want to be a distraction for the people who need to hear a word.
But what if
let me say this.
What if I'm hardened, right? Like I've dragged myself into church, right?
I got you.
I need a good tilling to really receive. You
need a praise, you need worship, you need a word.
Yeah.
Right. But if you need counsel, that's not going to happen during service.
Yeah,
that's what, like, I mean, I get it. I hear what you're saying, man. People say, well, are you interrupt? What did we have a couple of weeks ago? We had a guest speaker.
Oh, yeah.
We had somebody come in off the street. We talked about it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be sitting and listening to the guest speaker, but I got to go minister to somebody.
Yeah.
right? And somebody in the church came to me afterwards and was like, "Man, I really appreciate like what you did right there
Right.
is ministry." I'm like, "Yeah, because there was no other option there. But if I
Right.
had it my way,
Right. 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 Right.
I would have hoped to delay that until after
Right.
service."
Right. Right. Like hang in there. I'll come talk to you after.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because as much as we know the church is a hospital for sick people, right?
Right.
The sanctuary is an emergency room. What I'm saying is you're going to wait till everybody's in there. I know some people are going to disagree with me, but I don't care. The reality is you want to deliver a word to people.
Right.
We got to get to a place. We have got to get to a place where you don't wait for Sunday to tell it all.
I mean, not in a disruptive manner. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, I don't know. I think
You don't wait for Sunday.
I'm not saying
If
wait
I'm jacked up on Tuesday,
Right,
let me
right.
find some help Tuesday.
Yeah.
If I'm
yeah.
jacked up on Thursday, let me find some help Thursday. You say I get up and I crawl myself into service on Sunday. Yeah, I'll tell you something. In 9 cases out of 10, 9.5 cases out of 10, you can't cut a person in half. The person that comes in and breaks down on Sunday, you never see again.
Mm.
So what was the real purpose? Now, I understand that one can set 1,000 to flight and 2 10,000.
Right.
But how do the numbers work out? I understand the laws of some plant, some water, but God give the increase.
Right.
Somebody challenge me on it. Somebody come in because I preach every week. I've been doing ministry for a long time, and I'll tell you what I've learned.
Right.
What I've learned is that when you want help, when you really need help,
Right.
you're gonna come crying out for help.
Yeah.
Right. So what I mean, that's a question. What did Sean say?
Okay, let's go. A need had to be met, and if you waited, that soul's outcome may have been different.
Yeah, but the thing is, meeting the need in most cases has nothing to do with the condition of the soul.
Okay.
A lot of people come wanting a hand out, but not a leg up.
Okay.
That's real. That's why there's so many people against the church right now. The church didn't help me. Oh, you mean the church didn't pay your electric bill?
That's true. That I've heard that as well. But I'm not. I don't know. I guess my thought is a little different. Like I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about even the person that comes every Sunday that's trying to find an outlet. And then sometimes I'm not talking about just waiting till Sunday, but being able to reach out not just to the pastor, but either to other ministers, other brothers, feeling like they could be honest about what's going on in their household.
Yes, but what
You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
is if you come into church every Sunday,
right, carrying,
then you have a relationship with the people in the church, or you should.
Right. Or yeah.
If you got to say it on Sunday, then what you're doing is validating you don't have a relationship with that ministry.
Right.
You just showing up for church.
Right.
Okay. Because if you're part of the church, like I say this, y'all, you know where I am.
Right.
You know, you show up at the church every Sunday, but I got to tell you when the meetings are.
Right.
So you're not connected. Right?
Yeah.
You showing up at church every Sunday, but you're not there when we do community outreach. You're not connected.
But I think, it's
that's just the truth, bro.
I know. Hear me out. I'm not, and understand, I am not blaming the church. I'm blaming the people. And hear me out. What I'm saying is sometimes, like, I've had this nice life, right? You know, I got this nice posted Instagram life, right? Keeping it real. And I know it don't matter, but it does. And so like I come in, like we like the power couple, you know, like everything's tight, you know, and then there's a crack.
Yeah.
You know, that comes from somewhere. Could be our kids.
Yes.
Could be us, you know. And it's challenging, you know, when you place yourself in your mind as not perfect, but like, yo, we got this together.
And
You know,
I
like,
get what you're saying. Yeah,
you
there's
know,
an
how do
image
how
that
do you
you have
expose your crack? You know,
because you
and
have an
not
image.
yeah, and like and this image, let's get even deeper. Like this image even brings in an income. You know, like
Yeah.
so it's like I don't and some of my clients may be in this church. You know, like so how do you like and I'm asked, how you doing? Knowing in my head like horrible. You know, like and
Hmm.
and and you want to reach out, you want to tell, like it does matter. It's about you and your family. Yeah. And so it's like trying to get past the facade and being able to admit there's some cracks. And for the most part, you know, long as you're not a liar or a thief, people not turning on you. People know like stuff happens. But well, no, I take that back because people are like, oh, they look so perfect. They
I
look
mean,
so perfect.
yeah, but you're talking about humanity, and I'm
Right.
not talking
Right.
about those rare. I'm not talking about those occasions where, you go in church and the moment is there, and you're like, you know what, today we're gonna take the blinder, we're gonna take the mask off.
Right.
You
Right.
know, that's like to me, that's a spirit move,
Right.
right? And I'm saying that is as unique. Hear me now.
Right.
That is as unique as the person coming in off the street
Right.
trying to get home.
Right.
I've had people come in off the street and that interaction changed their life.
Right.
All what I'm telling you is the reality is the numbers don't work.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. You can't stop doing it, but you add like I'm just telling you how I feel about it
Yeah.
through my own experience.
Indeed. I hear you.
Right? That's
I hear
it. And like, because this is not about what you should do or what you shouldn't do.
No,
I'm
no,
saying
no.
there's somebody that's going to come in church and on a certain the moment is going to hit them, the spirit is going to be moving. They're going to be like, you know what? Today's the day I get delivered.
Right.
Right? Today's the day I stop lying.
Right.
And if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So I'm going to do it right here before my God and all of my family.
Right.
So
Right.
that everybody's praying for me.
Right.
So there's no secret. There's no rumor.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? I
Yeah.
got you. And I'm
Yeah.
saying that's a beautiful, beautiful moment for God to be glorified
Right.
and for a family to get their healing. I'm not against anything like that. I believe that. And you got to do that wherever you can get it, you do that. If that's on Sunday, then you do it.
Right.
You understand? What I'm saying is the issue that we have
Yeah.
is that we have to do that on Sunday because we can't do it on Tuesday.
Right. No, I get you. I get you.
That's what I'm saying.
I get you. I get you.
We got to get to a point where those kind of breakthroughs are happening Wednesday afternoon at 2:37 p.m.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we got to get to. And we're not there.
Right. Right. Yes, indeed. So listen, guys, appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us, hanging with us. As always, thank you for sharing. Sharing is caring. If you haven't shared, make sure you do so. Let everybody know that the Brothers of Legacy are on. Make sure, what else do I want you to do? Join our text community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576 if you haven't joined our text community, as we have these amazing conversations. Tomorrow, it's Freestyle Friday. I don't know if the head shake is work or us.
I'm sorry, man. I apologize. I have my TV on. Anthony Davis hurt again.
Oh, okay. All right. We're going to roll on. All right, guys. We look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you, Mama Corey. Appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you guys. Same time, same channel. Remember, continue to stay safe. Do the right thing. Love you too, Auntie.
Love you, Auntie.
And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Freestyle Friday. All right. Be blessed. Keep pushing. Keep growing. And yeah, I think that's it. Peace out. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for rocking, hanging, being with us. Sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the background that I know see.